Happy Sunday and Dwadasi, dear listeners. Hope you're all having the relaxed Sunday and are ready to listen to the 8th Pasuram. In the second section, Andal sets the mission of waking 10 girls, one each day. Actually, 10 is relatively a smaller number, right? But each woman represents 1 lakh women in Ayarpadi. In one of the early episodes, I had mentioned that Andal had to deal with different kinds of women in these 10 pasurams, in this section I mean. So we can broadly classify the whole women gender in these 10 types of women. And now, this 8th pasuram women, third one to be politically correct, is a very tough one to handle. Why is she tough to handle? We'll tell you the reason in a couple of minutes. So first, please enjoy the Dhanyasi Pasuram set to Kantachapu Talam. Meanwhile, I'll also mention the quote for the day. That might help you guess the main subject or the central theme of this Pasuram. So listen to it carefully. For good ideas and true innovation, all that you need is human interaction, conflict, argument, and debate. Over to the recital of the Pasuram.
கேழ்வானம் வேடன்று எருமை சிறு வீடு கேழ்வானம் வேடன்று எருமை சிறு வீடு கேழ்வானம் வேடன்று எருமை சிறு வீடு மேய்வான் பரந்தனகள் மிக்குள்ள பிள்ளைகளும் மேய்வான் பரந்தனகள் மிக்குள்ள பிள்ளைகளும் போவார் போகிறாரே போகாம காத்து ஒன்னே போவார் போகிறாரே போகாம காத்து ஒன்னே கோவான் வந்து நின்றோம் கோவான் வந்து நின்றோம் கோவான் வந்து நின்றோம் கோவான் வந்து நின்றோம் கோரகமுடைய பாவாயெழுந்திராய் படிப்பதை கொண்டு பாவாயெழுந்திராய் படிப்பதை கொண்டு பாவாயெழுந்திராய் படிப்பதை கொண்டு மாவாய் விடந்தனே மல்லரை மாட்டிய மாவாய் பிடந்தனை மல்லரை மாட்டிய தேவடி தேவனை தேவடி தேவனை சென்று நாம் சேவித்தான் தேவடி தேவனை சென்று நாம் சேவித்தான் ஆவாய்ந்து 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 ரோணே பாவாய் ஆவாய்ந்து ரோணே பாவாய் கேழ்வானம் வேண
That was the Dhanyasi Thiruppavai recital that you just heard. I hope all of you enjoyed listening to it. Now let's go over the meaning of this pasuram. So the woman described in this Thiruppavai is well versed in Tarka Shastra. According to one reckoning, there are 6 Shastras. Nyaya or Tarka Shastra, which was founded by Gautama, Vyakarana or Sankhya, Yoga, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. So they come as part of Vedanta. Tarka Shastra means debate or an argument. So logic or reasoning is an indispensable part to any study, right? So its main purpose is to establish by reasoning that the Karta or creator of this world is Parameshwara, indeed. It is like this. Vedas make a statement. Mimamsa helps to, it determine the meaning of it. And Tarka clears the doubt that arises in our minds when we read the statement by way of reasoning. Okay, now let us look through Andal's statements one by one and what are the counter arguments that are given by her Thori. So, this is what I said in the beginning of the episode. What will be the central theme of this pasuram, right? It is Tarka Shastra or Tarka basically, debate between Andal and her Thori. Now, let's look through Andal's statements one by one. Kilvanam Vellendru. Kilvanam, that refers to the horizon. So, horizon is the line at which the earth's surface and the sky appears to meet, right? So, it is called as Kshitija in Sanskrit. Andal says now that horizon is lit up, meaning the sun is rising in the eastern sky. Yerimai Sirividu Meivan Parandanakan. So, in the early morning, the buffaloes first go for grazing, the fields of small house, and then it goes for the bigger ones. Okay. Then the third statement she is making is Mikkulla Pillaigalum Povan Pogindrare Pohamal Kathu. Now all of us are ready. We're all geared up after Neeradal to go to Vatapatra Sai temple, but you have halted our mission, she says to the girl inside. Unnai Kuvan Vandu Nindrom. And what are we doing? Instead of knocking Perumal's door, we are here knocking your house door. Unnai Kuvan Vandu Nindrom. And now Andal, if she makes a harsh statement, next statement she will mellow down. Very diplomatic, and she knows how to handle people efficiently. It shows her efficiency. Right. Kodu kalamudaya pavai. She says, oh dainty girl, or you are the one who gives happiness to others. You don't have any negative thinking at all. You make people around you so happy and you look like a doll. Kodu kalamudaya pavai. She basically describes the girl's beauty, and who will not, mellow down if you sing in praise of them. So, the same happens to the girl. We can assume like that. Pavai elindirai paadi pareikundu. So, that is the last statement she is making in the argument now for the motion. Now, why should you get up? The mission of this Thiruppavai Nonbu is to seek salvation at Krishna's feet. Okay? Or you can say to marry Krishna. The third one, the most important one, what is that? That is to get the Parai Vadyam. This will be highlighted in most of the places in Thiruppavai. Parai is a type of musical instrument. You can assume it that way. So it's more like a toy to these young girls. So small children generally like toys, right? So these girls were no exemption to that. Okay, so now all the arguments in the for part of the motion is done. Now we have to see against the motion or the counter arguments given by the girl from inside. Kilvanam Vellendru. Okay, we have to think what counter argument this girl will give, right? Oh Andal, but she is very intelligent. See how she gives it. Oh Andal, you please see the horizon again. The sun is actually dipped into the sea. It is still sleeping. It has not started to rise. All of you have got like moon-like faces. I would say the reason as to why you see that, the eastern sky lighting up, such kind of an illusion. Why do you see? All of you have got moon-like faces. Now, she praises all the girls all together. And the radiation from the 5 lakh women is what is lighting up the eastern sky. So, this argument, when I was reading through it, also reminded me of an episode from Mahabharata where Krishna creates an illusion of a sunset or a false sunset. So this comes as part of the Jayatrad Vad episode. So the prelude to it I will just give. It is the 14th day of the battle of Kurukshetra, Mahabharata. So this comes as part of the chapter 9 of Drona Parva. Now, who is the army chief of the Kaurava side during that time? It was Burishravas. So Burishravas was a prince of a kingdom called as Balika. So he was the grandson of King Balika. So who was Balika? He was the brother of Shantanu, who was the king of Hastinapur or the father of Bhishma, right? So Balika was the crown prince of Hastinapur, but he devoted all his life conquering Balk. So Shantanu becomes the king of Hastinapur. It was actually Balika who had the right to the throne of Hastinapur actually. But since he was interested in conquering Balk, Shantanu takes over Hastinapur. So Balika was the uncle of Bhishma in that sense, Peripa. So he had a son called Somtatta, and his grandson is what was Burishravas. So both of them take part in the Kurukshetra war from the Kaurava side. Now, what happens is that Jayadrath and of course the whole of the mighty warriors in the Kaurava side, they kill Abhimanyu ruthlessly, right, without any mercy. So Arjuna takes the oath of killing Jayadrath the very next day before the sun sets, right? So but the most of the time during that day, the 14th day of the battle, goes in slaying the very talented warrior Burishravas. Now Krishna and Arjuna, they had very very less time left. So Krishna immediately rode his chariot to the position where Jayadrath was placed. But when they reached there, Kaurava had made a formation called as Sushimukha, which means the needle-eyed one. Okay, formation in the shape of a needle. When Arjuna saw the warriors placed in that formation, he was fear struck. Ashwatthama was there, then Kripa was there, Kritavarman was there, Dushasana, Shalya, and with such limited time, it looked as though impossible, to kill all the 6 warriors there, mighty warriors in front of him. And if he is not able to kill Jayatratha was protected by these 6 warriors. So if he is not able to do so, then Arjuna has to, light himself up in the fire, or he has to go into fire basically. So if Arjuna is slain, then the other Pandavas, they are very easy, to be won over. That was what is the impression or the idea the Kauravas were having. So now Krishna said, just see, O son of Kunti, how Jayatratha has been carefully protected by the 6 great warriors. Without vanquishing these Maharathis, you will never be able to kill Jayatratha. So what I will do is, I will cover the radiant sun with my own potencies, so that it appears as though the sun has set. At that time, what you do is, you go and cut off the head of Jayatratha, because he will no longer be able to guard himself after the sun has set. So you don't be afraid of the darkness, you just do your duty. It is simply, a display of my internal potency, and that will help you kill Jayatratha. So then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he covered the sun with his mighty potencies, and it appeared as though the sun had set on the horizon. All the Kaurava warriors, including Jayatratha, they were excited, they were joyful, and they were waiting to see Arjuna entering into the pyre, and there was no end, or no words can explain their excitement, can describe their excitement. Then Arjuna was almost ready to get into the fire. But while Jayatratha and everyone were looking at the sunset, Krishna says, this is the time, right time, Arjuna. See how Sindhu King is looking at the sun, setting sun joyfully. He is joyful, but you cast all the fear off you. Take this as an opportunity and cut off his head with a weapon Lord Shiva has given you, which is Pashupatastram. Right? So this is a short story or an episode from Mahabharata. Now coming back to our Pasuram. The next statement. Yerumai Siriveedu Meivan Parandanakan. So for this, the girl says, "Oh Andal, you are very, very innocent. This is Margazhi season and the clouds have become so dark, bearing rain. So now they are going as a group, right? Seeing these dark rain clouds is what you are thinking as group of buffaloes. It is your misunderstanding." And so she makes a statement, counter argument like that. Okay, now Andal says, "Oh, I admire, I applaud your wild imagination and counter arguments. Very, very well done," she exclaims. "But it is true that we are all in front of your home, knocking the door and waiting for you. What do you have to say for making us wait? Povan pogintare pohamal kaathu." Sri Periyavachan Pillai mentions in one of his works that the process is what is more important than the end result. The means or the process, the effort is what is more important than the end result. When we go for Tirupati pilgrimage trip, let's take an example. We get only a few microseconds to see Lord Venkateshwara or get Lord Venkateshwara's darshan. But the wait time is actually exponentially correlated to the time we get to have the darshan. And the anticipation it builds is the most exciting part, right? So similarly, this girl says, "No, I'm making you wait, but I'm building the anticipation." You see the positive side of it. So she's making a counter argument like that. Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar, interestingly mentions about the Tirupati or Tirupati Kshetra, Sheshachalanayakam, in couple of his kritis. So one to highlight, one or two to highlight as Kaliyuga Pratyaksha Vibhatam, he says in Sri Venkatesha Maloke, Suruti Kriti, and Aravindra Patranayanam, Govindam Uragashayanam, Seshachalanayakam, the Varadi Kriti. Right, so here the tarkam or the debate ends. But who wins this argument? I will leave it to you, dear listeners. You are the better judge. Right, going on to the next part of this Thiruppavai. Mavai Pilandane. This refers to the killing of the Kesi demon who comes in the form of a horse. So he tears the mouth of Kesi. Manlarai Martiya. Mushtika and Chanura, they were wrestlers who were killed at Mathura when Kamsa challenged Krishna and Balarama for the Dvanta Yuddha. Uttukadi Sri Venkata Subbayar in Swagatam Krishna Kriti highlights this particular wrestling event. Mushtika Atsura Chanura Malla Visharada Madhusudana. So Krishna gets the name of Madhusudana after killing the wrestlers. Dikshitar says in Balagopala Kriti, Bhairavi Ragam, Chanura Malla Harana Nipuna Dara. So one who is skilled in wrestling, and because of his skill and valor he could kill the Chanura wrestler. Now the last line of this pasuram, Devati Devane Sendru Nam Sevittal. So now what will we get when we go and have the darshan, or when we go and see the Devati Deva, which is Lord Krishna? We'll start enjoying or the experience that we get out of having the darshan of Krishna. How you should get that darshan. Look at Krishna's eyes, his lips, his hair, his forehead, his broad shoulders. Everything is sweet. Adaram maduram, vadanam maduram, nayanam maduram, hasitam maduram, hridayam maduram, geetam maduram, maduradipater akilam maduram. Everything is sweet about Krishna. Sri Krishna Madhurashtakam was composed by Sri Vallabhacharya, who lived during the 15th century. So I am just giving a gist about what Madhurashtakam is for those who do not know about it. So he lived during 1478 AD. It basically comprises of 8 verses. Ashtakam means 8 verses, right? To describe the lovely attributes of Lord Krishna in his beautiful form. And Krishna himself is sweetness personified, right? So with that, we have come to the end of this episode, and we'll end this episode on the sweet note. So have a great Sunday, dear listeners, and it's bye from me, Srividhya Lakshminarayanan. Meet you all tomorrow with the 9th Thiruppavai, one of my favorites, and I will also work on getting to understand the in-depth meaning of it, and will try to make it as interesting as possible. So hope you enjoy this episode. So stay tuned. Bye.